Hi YouTube. So, back after a long absence. I did a video a while back in the summer, a couple months ago, about using adapted Canon lenses on the Sony A6300. The lens I used was actually the Sigma 17 to 50 f2.8 and also the Sigma 17 to 70 f2.8 to f4 using the Sigma MC-11 adapter. Now, they worked well, but since the summertime I've gotten rid of both of those lenses and I've substituted it with something else, and I'm going to show you what I did. So right now I have on this the Zeiss 16 to 70 f4 lens on the A6300. Now, this basically gives you a field of view on a full frame that's equivalent to a 24 to 105 f4. Now here is a Canon 24 to 105 f4 lens. As you can see, it is a lot bigger, but this is for full frame body. So I also do shoot with the Sony A7 Mark II, and well, let me just back up, and just to go into background, I started shooting with Sony on the NEX5N, and I've always loved using adapted lenses, starting with the old Canon FD lenses, which were all manual, and shortly after, when the A7 came out, I got that. I've actually gone through the NEX5N, the 5R, the 5T, NEX6, the A7, the A6000, and when when the LEA4 came out, I actually bought that and started using Minolta lenses as well as Canon FD lenses. Then when the A7 Mark II series came out, and they introduced the hybrid autofocus that could quickly autofocus Canon lenses, I basically went full out and got a bunch of Canon adapters and Canon lenses, and which was also a reason why I upgraded to A6300, because the A6000 wouldn't use the autofocus for Canon lenses. So anyway, what I wanted to do is demonstrate why I got rid of the Sigma 17 to 50 and 17 to 70 crop lenses, and instead I got this new adapter. Now, this adapter, this is a Viltrox adapter as well. This is the Viltrox EF to E mount. It's actually a focal reducer that gives you autofocus. So what this does is it actually will give you an almost full frame field of view, while at the same time increasing the light by close to one stop. So this is my other A6300, and mount this on. Now this is a giant, as you can see. Compared to this, these are equivalent field of views. We'll test it in a minute just so you can see how close it is to the 24 to 105 field of view. However, the advantage is that it acts as a 24 to 105 f2.8 lens. So now if you look on the back here, you see that the aperture actually goes to f2.8. Right? This is the 24 to 105 f4L lens. Okay? But this allows you to open up the aperture to f2.8. Okay, so now the advantage of this is that this body with this lens acts as a full backup to my Sony A7 Mark II, which I have here with the Sigma MC-11, and this is actually the 24-70 F2.8 on here. So this is a 24-70 F2.8 on a full frame. This is the equivalent of a 24-105 F2.8, and I can even mount the 24-70 F2.8 onto the A6300 with this focal reducing adapter, and it becomes a 24-70 F2.0 lens, which is not even, they don't even make that in real life. So, okay, now we'll get to some testing. Okay, let me just switch. Okay, so right now I have the Zeiss 16-70 mounted. Okay, and just to show you the field of view comparison, this is at 70. This is 16. This is 70, which is basically 24-105 equivalent. Right? This is with the native 16-70 F4 Zeiss for crop sensor. Now, for comparison, here is the Canon 24-105 with the focal reducer. And putting this basically right on top, this is at 24. I want you to be able to see both. Okay, so just for the approximate field of view, that's a 24. This is at 105. Okay, so if you look at this here, this was the image taken at 105. This is 105. Sorry, it's hard to do this one-handed. That's at 105. Okay, now this is at 24. You can basically see very close. And if you look, I had the same settings. This one, 1/60th of a second, F4 ISO. I put it on auto ISO. It was ISO 3200. Okay, so I set it aperture priority 1/60th of a second. F4, it gave you ISO 3200. Now on this, on the F2.8, 1/60th second, F2.8, auto ISO gave you ISO 2000. So that is just about one stop of light. Alright, and that's that. And just to show you a quick autofocus test here. Alright. This is 105. Okay, hopefully that's helpful to some people. So that was just a demo to show the usefulness of this focal reducer, the Viltrox EF to E-mount focal reducing autofocus adapter. I actually couldn't really find much info online about this, and for what it does, it's pretty amazing. I'm surprised there's not more people. But anyway, so I got rid of the crop lenses for Sony, or actually for Canon. The only ones I have left are the old kit 16-50. I'll probably always hold on to this because when you want a compact setup, this is great. You could put it in a coat pocket. And I have this Zeiss 16-70 F4, which I got, but I wanted a good all-around lens, but that's compact, but I guess for what it is, I actually like using this more. The image quality is better, and the extra stop of light definitely helps. Oh yeah, and the image stabilization in this lens actually works also with this adapter. Another bonus. Okay, so anyway, that's my setup, and because of this adapter, let me just zoom out. You can see my setup. So I have all Canon autofocus lenses for my setup. I mean, I have some other lenses, but these are my main ones that I use, and they all work. They all autofocus on both cameras, although some combinations will only work with some lenses will only work with certain adapters. I have the 24-70 f2.8, this 24-105 f4, the 50 1.8 STM, 35 f2 without the image stabilization, the older version. This is the 85 1.8. This is the 70-200 f4, the 17-40 f4, and the 35 f1.4. And the awesome thing, they can all be used on both bodies, backup to full frame backup, A6300, or I can just use the normal non-focal reducing adapter like this Fotodiox or the Sigma MC-11. When I use it on the A6300, it gives you the 1.5 crop. So essentially, I have two focal lengths, just depending on two ranges of lenses with two focal lengths, depending on if I use a focal reducing adapter or if I use the adapter that gives me the 1.5 crop. So hopefully that has been informative and helpful. If you have any questions, comments, feel free to include them below. And if you found this helpful or useful, want to see more videos, you want to see certain demos with certain lenses, any questions, just comment below and subscribe and like if you found this helpful. Thanks again. Bye.